Today, we're talking about how a brand knows whether a product that's not working or not selling is a problem with that product or is maybe a deeper brand problem. And we see this in a couple ways where you don't have a lot of clarity about what's happening. And that brand issue could be an awareness problem. It could be that you're not differentiated well. Maybe you have some poor satisfaction from your clients or your previous customers that's making them not want to buy this product. What I want to talk about today is what are the things that might be worth asking or seeking out within the business to know where that issue might lie.
So before you can diagnose if it's a brand problem or a product problem and look at those areas that you talked about, because there's good questions you can go interrogate with your sales team, with your customer satisfaction team, with your leadership and your dealers. Before you even get there, you need to look at how people are buying. So are people buying at the brand level or are they buying at the product level? And you can do that by going to your dealerships and asking them, are people coming in asking for my brand or are people coming in asking for my product? And which one are they asking for? And it can be really hard in the dealership environment. You know, stuff is crammed together. It's like if you come in looking for a floor plan, you might see it and it doesn't fit. And so you just pop to the next unit over and it may or may not be the same brand and you may or may not know or care.
So often in these brands, we see them launch products or keep a product in market that's just not landing the way they want it to. Units are not moving. And the organization is very quick to look at the product and say, this product is not right. But what we've, I think, found over time is that there could be a brand problem underneath there. That could be awareness, could be differentiation. It could be that the customer is just not satisfied. We don't know what the solutions are to all those things because there are a lot of them. But I think let's talk a little bit today about how can you narrow down what the issue might be in order to help solve the problem.
Yeah, totally. I think a lot of our customers and OEMs that we'll talk to, they have a product that isn't landing and then sales will blame marketing. Marketing's not doing enough. Marketing will blame sales. Sales isn't following up on the leads that we're giving them. And you're right. The instinct is to blame the product. And sometimes it's a brand problem. It can be a brand storytelling problem. It can be a brand awareness problem, but those can both also be true for the product side.
If it's a brand awareness problem, are there certain things that someone should be looking for to know that's true?
Well, I think even before you get to, is it a brand awareness problem, you need to look at how people are buying. So in a lot of the industries we work with, like RV or marine, sometimes people aren't buying the brand, they're buying the product.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, we were at dinner last week and we asked a guy what kind of RV he had and he didn't know.
No idea what brand he had.
He lived in it for a year and he really struggled to remember. Like, I think we finally got him there, but it was funny to us just because we live in it so much. It's
pretty common.
So knowing how people buy is really important. So part of knowing if it's a brand awareness problem is going and talking to dealers and talking to dealers about, are people coming in and are they asking, I want to see this type of boat or like this brand of boat, or they have a boat model in mind that they want to see. You and I have talked a lot about even how setting up of a dealership floor can like inform brand awareness. So knowing that can inform how people buy and then tell you where the awareness problem is. If talking to dealers is out of reach for you, there's some tests you can do through paid advertising, like market gap awareness tests where it's like pretty light lift and you can run some paid ads and then do some follow-up surveys. And that'll tell you if you have a brand awareness problem as well. Yeah,
and I also feel like there's some data work that can happen there just before you talk about whether your product is failing or not. Make sure that you've looked to see whether the products that it competes with are also selling or not selling. Like what does not succeeding mean in this scenario? If the whole market's down, if everyone that's your size and that model or whatever that is also struggling, it may be that you have a problem that everybody has and that it's more of a long game you need to play and you're not approaching the marketing of it right in the early stages there.
I think that's right. And I think also looking at the product within your own portfolio
Yeah.
gives you an indication of that
Yeah.
as well too. Like even just looking at if you have a landing page
Yeah.
for a product that you launch, are the page views for that down compared to the rest of your product pages
Yeah.
or your goals for launch on this?
Yeah.
Then that's an awareness problem versus if they're not filling out the form, that's like a branding or a conversion
Right.
problem. And then that also sits a little bit outside of what's the market performance for these products. Then it can be a more specific product issue rather than like a market factor. But all of that is in play, which is why this issue is so complicated.
Well, I mentioned differentiation too, and that's not only differentiation against competitors. Is this product positioned well? Are you as a brand positioned well? But your point about the portfolio is so true. Very common. We see businesses in this space have products across a portfolio that it's hard to understand why they have multiple of them.
Mm-hmm.
They are similar lengths, similar layouts, similar names even sometimes. And it's just really hard to know, why does this product and this product both exist in your portfolio?
Yeah.
And if one is selling and the other is not, that sort of differentiation problem exists potentially at multiple layers.
Mm-hmm.
But I think to go back to maybe it's not a product thing and it's a brand thing, differentiation at that brand level also can have a pretty big impact on this.
And that, I think, gets back to the dealership angle too.
Yeah.
Is how is the brand differentiated in the places where people are buying it?
Mm-hmm.
And so even just how you're set up on a dealership floor can be a huge impact to that. There's an exercise that we do a lot of the time when we're going through branding, either at the product or at the company level for people, and that's a communications audit, and anybody can do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just assembling all of your marketing materials, and if you were looking at product performance, you do it at the product level.
Right.
But just assemble all of your marketing materials for that product and look at them and evaluate, is first of all, do they exist?
Yeah.
Like, do they exist
You got
across
what you need.
Yeah, across all the different channels, like
Right.
all of the different touch points. And then are they telling a consistent story?
Mm-hmm.
Are they visually aligned? So I'm creating like repetitive cues for the consumer, for the
Right.
audience. So we create familiarity through repetition.
Right.
And then is it compelling?
Yeah.
And it is a very qualitative exercise, but it does get to that differentiation point. And you can even bring in outside perspectives, someone who hasn't seen your marketing before. I'll actually do this. I'll bring my husband into it a lot of the time just because he is an engineer. And so he has a very different brain. But to get an outside perspective with someone who has a different brain, who's outside your bell jar of, can you tell what story we're trying to say to the marketplace?
Mm-hmm.
And if someone coming in cold can't tell, then the marketplace won't be able to tell either.
Yeah, and one of the things that we've been talking about a lot as well, and then the advertising side, is it is very hard to find the right spot on the sort of spectrum of, this ad is very memorable and this ad is very clearly about a specific product. And it is very common to see ads that are really memorable in what's happening in the commercial, or like, this visually looks really cool. But if someone asks you a week later, like, what was that commercial for, and you can't even name the brand, then you've sort of just made compelling creative that isn't creating a memory structure that's tied to that product in a way that's going to be useful long term.
Totally. And that is some of the most exciting challenges, I think, in my work on the creative side, is like, how do we create a differentiated message that works for this brand, that's specific for this brand, but it's also clearly communicating the product benefits. It's like kind of the hardest, I don't know, like needle to thread, I guess. But it can be done, and it can be done well, but it is a challenge.
It's hard.
So, and there's ways we can solve that. I think that's a totally separate topic, but there's a lot of creative things we can do.
The other thing that's true sometimes in these situations is that you're selling to, in a lot of these industries, you're selling to repeat buyers, or at least people who have bought from competitors of yours in the past. And it is really common that you could have a product that the customer just doesn't think is good, and you inside the brand's office don't know about it, there's just like a satisfaction issue. And that's another thing that you deal with completely separate from do people know about it. But if people don't like it, then you have sort of a different issue to deal with.
Totally. And I think there's like what the product is informs that a lot, I guess, because you can have kind of different subcategories of how a product is launched that create different customer satisfaction problems. Like, is it an upsell to a repeat buyer? Is it a new market expansion? Thinking about maybe less if you're making a vehicle, but more if you're a supplier and you're expanding your offerings. Are you going into this new product as like an upsell? Or is this like a totally new market for you? And like all of those are different conversations for like a sales and a customer satisfaction team that inform how you should be marketing and positioning the product, which I think is why it's again important to go talk to your dealers and talk to your other teams and kind of like get outside of your seat as much as possible to get those perspectives.
Yeah. When we do product launch planning, we help people launch new products. We hear a lot, and we did some research on this last year, I think, that so often the marketers in this space feel like they're being brought in at the last minute on these new product launches, and they don't know why this product, and they're being asked to be ready to show people this product at a trade show when it isn't even finished being built, and they find that hard. But I think there's sort of an expectation that they're just ready, but they also need to be pressing on the product team and leaning on them to say, why did you make this product? What informed this product? What were the decisions a year and a half ago when you said, I think we need something between this and this in the portfolio? Why? Like, what told you that? Was it feedback from customers? Was it dealers said they'd like something shorter and cheaper? Like, what are those things? And getting some more alignment there, even outside of a new product launch, just constant conversation between sales and marketing and product is really important for knowing how to tell those stories in a way that reflects how the customers feel about your products.
Yeah, it's such a wide spectrum. I can think of examples where even in the same company, a marketer will have an experience where they're brought into product development a year and a half ahead of time and a month ahead of time.
Yeah.
Just in the same role, but the expectations are very similar.
Yeah.
And there's also a ton of considerations on even just what constitutes a new product. Sometimes a new floor plan can be marketed like a new product.
Yep.
And then how are you right-sizing spend to that? And then aligning that with sales expectations. I think another thing we're seeing in the industry is kind of like a sharper divide between, like you talked about the marketers being brought in at the last minute. And then there's also places where product development is placed more and more into marketing. Like it's becoming more and more of their role. I don't know if you are, but I'm seeing that divide, which is interesting. And it makes it more important, I think, for marketing to be aligned with that product development and sales where possible.
Yeah, we were at a summit with a group of clients. They're all like within the same brand family a few weeks ago. And it was interesting to talk to their senior marketing leaders about how many of their senior marketing leaders were becoming senior product and marketing leaders, and how those like roles were merging in their businesses, which I think is a good thing long term, but that does put a lot of things on that person's plate. It just might produce better information.
It changes the expectation too. Is if you're developing the product and you're also marketing the product.
Yeah.
If you're not aligned with sales, I think the stakes are higher for sure.
Well, and it puts pressure back on the thing we started talking about, which is if you own both, then you ultimately are the person that needs to know, is this a product problem or is this a brand problem? Because you are, in your team, you are responsible for, are we effectively building the brand through intelligent marketing and advertising? And are we positioning the product well? And if you can't tell the difference, then you need to be asking yourself and your team better questions.
And there are different levers to pull, obviously, if it's a brand problem or a product problem. And it might be easier for you as a marketer to pull some levers on the product side or on the product branding side than it is for the brand as a whole. That's a bigger question.
Yeah.
But knowing and having a hypothesis of what it is, so you can go have the right conversations with sales, with leadership and come informed with the right kind of data and the right kind of hypotheses to really dig in and diagnose that correctly, it will just get you better results on that.
Yeah, and being very clear with everybody about what's the thing that we can fix in the short term and what is the thing that's going to take a long time to change and won't maybe have a massive impact on this specific product. But here are some things we can do to help it in the meantime. If you were a marketer in one of these B2B to X brands and you felt this was a mystery in your business right now, is this product not working or is our brand not driving this product to succeed? You had to go do something in the next 2 days. What would you do?
I would go talk to dealers and I would go talk to sales. Like, go to your dealerships and find out how people are buying. Are they asking about your brand or are they asking about your products, and which products are they asking about? And then talk to sales and see, are they getting in the room and they can't close the sale, or are they having trouble even getting in the room with this product? And the answers to those questions will tell you if it's an issue at the brand level or if it's at the product level.
Yeah, it's very good advice. It is too rare in our experience that the marketers at these companies are feet on the ground, walking around dealer lots with their dealers and have relationships with the dealers where they can walk in the door and ask them how things are going and they know who they are. And it's a really good advice. Just get out there. You got to get in the car, get on a plane, go see how the product looks on the lot. That feels like an ending right there.
Yeah, I feel like we ended it.